That's 2 set points.
Matchpoint Tennis Championships from Taurus Games is a realistic arcade tennis game that uses training and unlockable equipment in order to boost your players' skills and abilities. It is cross-platform compatible with numerous mini-game challenges, a tutorial and a career mode. Whilst the game does not have any official tournaments in it, it does have 15 official top-ranked tennis players in the ranks, with detailed player modelling for each of those players. And for me, it's the slick player animations and the pace with which the ball is played around which first got me excited about MTC. At times, this game does look photorealistic. MTC is focused on delivering a tactical gameplay style where shot choice and accuracy are essential to win. One unique feature in this regard is opponent strength and weakness discovery. These informational nuggets are discovered whilst playing against an opponent and can be used in order to help you win. This could be positives like, each time the game goes to deuce, the opponent will improve, or negative perks where the player has a weak backhand. Exploiting or avoiding these traits can help win matches, but it is not so arcade that you feel like you are playing against an end-of-level boss. Whilst the UI pop-up is somewhat distracting and could definitely be improved, the theory behind it actually works quite well. Whilst the player animations in play are extremely good overall, I did notice 1 or 2 potentially small gaps within the animation. Now they could just be pre-release bugs, but shots exploiting these 2 gaps equal an instant win or loss. Thankfully they don't happen often enough to be a significant problem. Hopefully they will be fixed in a patch, but ultimately there are far fewer animation gaps than can be found in many similar tennis titles. Realistic gameplay for me is essential in tennis matches, and here tennis matches are high-paced affairs with long rallies, and it often feels like your opponents fight back too, which allows matches to ebb and flow in a natural and realistic way. Despite there being no fatigue or stamina gauge though, personally I would like to see one implemented so that you cannot just play max power shots one after another for the entire match. My primary focus is always on the gameplay within the career, and to start with, player creation is decent, limited, but apparel can be unlocked as you progress. Sadly, on court though, and especially in replays, the facial features of your players look terrible, and they are completely out of place with the rest of the animations available in the game, which are smooth and, as I say, almost photorealistic at times. Now, I'm playing a pre-release version of the game, so I can only hope that this might be a bug or a setting which I have set incorrectly. That being said, they do fit right in with the spectators, which are somewhat equally disappointing. When you begin your career, all of your stats will begin at 20. There seems to be no difficulty setting option when starting a career, so instead it's about allowing you to compete in smaller events against less skilled players before ranking up enough to face the more talented and challenging players in the main events. Career attributes can be improved via training games or by unlocking new equipment. A variety of skilled coaches can also be unlocked, which help you to attain greater results in particular areas. So the first few matches you play are likely to be quite challenging, until at least you find your feet, that is, at which point you should be able to throw your weight around pretty quickly, winning smaller tournaments with relative ease against what should be much higher ranked players. I haven't reached the Ultimate Championships yet to see if the difficulty increases, but you can watch all my tournaments over on 𝐒𝐢𝐦 Ultimate Realism if you want to see how the game really unfolds and plays out. What might be good is a difficulty option that removes the aiming reticule and introduces a stamina and fatigue system. Anyone who knows anything about immersion will know that audio is absolutely key. And unfortunately, the audio here is something of a disappointment. Ambient audio is very limited and often poor quality overall. Huge amounts more should be done to improve this aspect of the game if they really want players to become engaged. Other audio issues or bugs include the umpire, who seems to miss some of the key calls. I haven't yet heard her say let, first serve or match point, and the game would benefit tremendously from patches to this area alone.
That was his big chance, an opportunity to get the break here.
One nice, yet again somewhat undeveloped feature is the commentator. He's a little bit lackluster for my liking, almost sounds like he was pressurised into doing it against his will. But the main issue is he hardly ever speaks. Now that might be because there isn't enough variety within the recorded scripts, but I would love to see this area boosted with a second, perhaps female commentator with a little more excitement who could introduce some great shot or excellent finish or what a rally. As it is, it doesn't really warrant much praise, but going forward it's certainly an area which could make MTC really stand out. And it is equally a little bit disappointing that winning big points or even tournaments is met with relative silence. There's no fanfare or cutscenes offered as a reward.
Both of these players have absolutely earned the right to be here for this final match, but who will take home the trophy?
Now obviously one of the most concerning issues has to be any missing features or bugs that I have experienced. And you have to remember this is a pre-release version I'm playing, so some of these issues may be resolved before launch. But right now there seems to be no way to contest an umpire's decision, and having seen many shots that were definitely out being called in, I also suspect that there are numerous shots that were called out that I would have argued and contested were actually in as well. Now this is going to be a serious problem if it launches like this, but hopefully it won't, or if it does, it will get patched out very quickly. Certainly that is the most concerning thing to note. The tennis courts and the events are pretty decent looking, if a little bit samey, and the actual gameplay is actually pretty decent. A few other pre-release bugs that I noticed includes replays, which show the wrong footage quite often, and often from very terrible camera angles. And there was an issue as well where I was unable to skip replays at all, and I had to watch every single one in its entirety. Doubles is another feature that just appears to be missing from the game completely. It's something that could be added to enhance the overall career, and there were a few other menu related issues which occurred quite often where the selected option I picked was not actually the one that was actioned. Again, these are just silly little bugs, and I'm sure they'll be fixed before release or very soon after. So to sum everything up, I hope that all the little quirks will be ironed out quickly, and overall this game actually delivers a really rather good, slightly non-simulated tennis experience, although it's not a million miles away from being a simulated tennis experience if a few changes were made. It has a decent casual gameplay style about it, and although it doesn't really do anything much to enhance immersion, primarily because of the audio, there definitely were some moments when I felt like I was really playing tennis, and that is certainly praiseworthy of note. To sum it up, Matchpoint Tennis Championships is probably better suited for casual tennis players who like a bit of a challenge, but not necessarily decent enough for hardcore sim or hardcore sports fans who want a really in-depth, simulated, realistic tennis career or competitive challenges against the AI. There doesn't appear to be any way to turn off the aiming circle or the aiming reticle, which would obviously add a level of difficulty, nor do your opponent's attributes really ensure a significant challenge sometimes, so maybe the AI could be beefed up a bit more as well. Definitely though, it's a fun for all game, excellent for local or online multiplayer, but as it's not as in-depth as I would personally have liked it to have been, it does lack a little bit of that immersion that I'm sort of searching for in a tennis career. But with a bit of work, all of the negatives I've highlighted in this review could be improved or completely eradicated. As a first launch game from a tennis perspective, this is a fantastic foundation upon which they could take it in a number of different directions, and I hope it's towards realistic tennis simulation, because the speed of the play and the animations of the players themselves is actually really top notch, and certainly the USP for this particular game. Thank you for watching. Please do hit that like button. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if you have any thoughts on this game, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
It's a very decisive moment in the match. That's two breaks.